Hey everybody, Mike Pontoon, Hydrofoil, and listen, we are here today to just try and help explain to you our methods of pulling off templates for the VARA plate. We have 13 models available right now that are already pre-templated. It's easy, you call us up, you give us your make, model, year of engine, and we have already matched it to that make, model, year. And so any post fitting, once you receive our VARA plate, which looks like this, once you receive this VARA plate, any post fitting, meaning any sanding or anything, would be minimal. However, we have quite a bit of people coming across with engines that are, you know, just somewhat offbeat. They're off brand. When I say off brand, there's not a lot of them being used on the boats today. So what we're doing now is we're offering a templating procedure, okay, which is what I'm showing you right now. This is an expanded PVC. This is approximately 2 millimeters. And what it does is you can cut it with scissors. So what you'll need for tools is you'll need scissors, you'll need tape, and then you'll need this expanded PVC that we'll send to you as soon as you place your order for a VARA plate and or a VARA foil kit. We'll send this to you just to make sure that we're going to be sending you a VARA plate that fits your motor and you have minimal modifications to make to it, and so that your experience of assembling your VARAfoil kit and on your VARA plate are as easy as we can make it. Okay, so the best way to do that is just to make sure that we're receiving a template of what is going to be close to what we're sending to you, so that we don't go the opposite way and send you something that's wrong. Then you've got to send it back, and then we've got to send it back to you again. So that's the whole purpose of this, right? So we're willing to eat the shipping and the cost of this, getting it to you. So now what we want to do is just show you how to do it, right? I've got to tell you, I've never done this before, not on this particular brand of material. We've done it with an acrylic, we've done it with cardboard, we've done it with Lexan, we've done it with actually type 1 PVC, and I've used it using saws, but I tried to figure out how am I going to make it easy for the general public to do, but yet give them a stiff surface, something that's not curved, so we don't send it to you in a roll-up tube that will lay flat on the anti-ventilation plate, but yet allow us to get an accurate dimension, because what we do is we offset each one of the points that is cut to us. That goes into AutoCAD, and then AutoCAD builds this for CNCing, and then CNCing makes our VARA plate units, and they go with the kits. So it's a pretty, straightforward procedure. It's just that we've got to make sure that we have the offsets correct, right? And those offsets will include this. This represents the top of where the anti-ventilation plate meets the lower unit. This represents the area of where after you fit this to the top, we go ahead and we take a magic marker, and we use a magic marker to go ahead and just take the edge of what that looks like all the way around after this fits to the top. Listen, if you overcut, don't worry about it. That's what the tape is for. If you undercut, just cut a little bit more. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to start out with some basic form and try and cut this to make it fit. This happens to be a Suzuki 250. This is a 2023 model. It's a little bit offbeat because it doesn't match the 90s, the 115s, the 140s, because obviously it's a 6-cylinder. But this motor is very, very, very close to the Suzuki models. However, we want to show you what it looks like if you were to do an offbeat brand, whatever your model may be. When we say offbeat, we're not dissing any manufacturers out there. We're just saying offbeat as in we don't have that model readily available. So what we want to do is we want to get it into our computer system, so the next guy that comes in, he orders one, he's ready to go and doesn't have to go through this. Okay, so we're going to make it as easy as we can for you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to just take and we're going to do this. Take scissors with these lines that we did with a magic marker, and I am actually going to have to cut this because for some reason, oh no, I got it. It's right here. Magic marker's here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut this in a crude shape to wrap it around the lower unit, but on top of the ventilation plate, right? And we'll take this, and like I said, this is just going to be a crude shape. We'll discard that, and we're going to take it, we're going to lay this on here, and you know, you're going to see some bubbling taking effect. Like, see how it kind of bubbles? It doesn't fit up there. So what we need to do, you know, I'll put my scissors in my pocket. I'm going to try and fast forward this because I don't want to cut anything out. I want you to see actually how long it takes. We will go ahead. We take a look at the back. The back kind of represents what we want, all right? But the front is too tight. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to open this up. All right, and then we're going to try and do the even amount on the other side. Like, we don't want to take off more on this side than we do on the other side, right? It just wouldn't make sense to do that. So we'll go ahead. I'll actually just sit here and I'll look at what we have here and I'll say, okay, we're going to take off this amount here. And that way we try and just keep this symmetrical. We don't want some sort of asymmetrical fit. We want a true fit to this. So what we'll do is we'll come in, use our scissors, we're going to cut to that. I have no idea how long this is going to take, guys. We're going to just bear with me. All right, so we're going to go there. And we're going to go here. And there may be, listen, we may go ahead and change this from, if it's not far enough forward, we may make it a little bit further forward. But basically you can see, you know, it's not a really great shape, right? Yet. So what we're going to do is put our scissors in our pocket again, lay this back on here, put this back down, and now we're starting to get rid of some of that roundness that you may have seen. Okay, it's starting to lay flat. As you can tell, I can still push up, and we're still getting a touching here. Everything else is loose in the back when I touch it, right? But the front is still getting some tightness. So what we're going to do is we're going to take my magic marker, which is probably laying over here, and we'll go ahead and we're going to open this up just a little bit more. Notice our back is starting to fit good, and it's really staying inside this area on the bottom that we X out. We don't want you to go further aft than that because this is the section that kind of holds everything together. Let's say that we were to let you take this cut out and go all the way back here. We're not going to, right? But if we went all the way back here, this little bit of meat or structure would not hold this template together correct, so that when we received it, we would be getting wrong dimensions for your offset, and we'd be sending you something that doesn't fit. So what we want is we want enough meat back here, and that's why we'll give you these indication lines. These are called, this is just don't mess with area, okay? So we'll go ahead and we're going to, once again, we're going to be symmetrical, and we're going to go here, okay? And then I'll pull that off, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And here's what I want you to know. Don't worry about overcutting. Why is that? Well, you saw that we had blue tape there, right? So that blue tape is there in case we overcut. What we're going to do is you're going to write us a little note. You'll put blue tape back on here and say, whoops, made a little mistake. I overcut it. And you're obviously not going to be in a hurry that I am to kind of show you through this. But if you overcut, you have a way to add material back, and that is you're going to use the blue tape, and we'll add the material back, and then that way you can represent what we have there on the top, and then draw the lower unit back on the plate. Okay. The other thing we want to see is if you have any oil plugs or drain plugs in here for your lower unit when you change out your lower unit oil. Usually those are just rise plugs, so you just have to loosen those to where you plug in this nozzle on the lower unit, you're pushing in the oil, and then it just rises out. Then you tighten that plug and then tighten the lower plug. You don't have to take that screw completely out. we usually make the VARA plate so that you can ease the screw off, get the airlocks and get solid oil back in there, but we don't make it so the screw comes out. Some cases we do, but if we don't think we messed up. It's just there to let the oil rise and then lock it, and then you'll lock the lower unit. But please mark the oil drain plugs if you're doing this. Or if there's any other, you know, these zinc areas, you don't have to worry about because you'll be able to get those off with the VARA plate on. But if there's anything that, you know, may be trapped when we do this VARA plate, then we want to make sure that we take care of it. In this case, what we got, and you may not be able to see it from where you're at, is it has this fair wall, but up in this area, there's obviously a bolt that comes through. So this bolt is causing us a problem right now with our fitting. So we're going to actually take, and we're going to, I'll show you after I pull this off. This bolt is actually going the other way. In other words, this housing is forming the other way. So we're going to take and do that on one side, and then what did I say? We're going to do that on the other side from about the same area. And then that gives us symmetrical deal. We're getting really close at this point, so hopefully you guys aren't getting bored with me to, you know, we're getting really close to a fit to where you get to see what we're doing. But, you know, you're going to take a little bit more time and make it obviously a little bit more precise, right? But we just want you to see it's no big deal. This stuff cuts easy, and then you'll ship it back to us in the same flat format that we send it to you, so that we'll actually send you a pre-ship, you know, a pre-packaged shipping invoice. So you just put that in there. You don't have to pay for a thing. It's just a matter of your time. It's probably going to take you between 15 minutes and a half hour. And we're going to come in here. We're going to take this here. And we're going to come in here. And we're going to take this here. Okay. And we're going to take this all off here. And what we want to do, listen, there's one other thing, guys. We want to make sure that when this is laying here, it's laying here at the bottom of radius. When the plate comes in from the side, there's a radius. They do that for structural purposes. If you take in engineering, if you take and you come into a sidewall and then you just make it a straight square there with no fillet or no radius, they call this, then it actually point loads or what hinge loads the area. So most of your manufacturers, you're going to see that this is a rounded area. It's very smart of them to do that. So what we want to do is when you do your forming, just make sure that the forming is to the outside of the radius. Okay, otherwise, if you get our VARA plate and it is too small, okay, you're going to have to just radius the bottom side of the plate so it fits. It's no big deal. You can take a sander to do that. You can take a grinder to do that. You know, you got to make sure that this thing is laying flat and that it matches what you have. So it's a matter of, you can do it now, or if you don't do it now, we will go ahead and take care of it on the install. So this should be close to our last cut. And then from here, you can trim up anything, make it final. You can finalize it before you put it back. Make any notes on here. Like I said, drain plugs. If we were to have a drain plug in here, you know, just know where the drain plug is so that we can cut out for that before we send it to you. And let's just say this. Let's say that we get the cut out in the wrong place by maybe 1/4 of an inch, or you forget to indicate it. No big deal. You can use a file, a saw, anything to go ahead and make that drain plug so that it fits your VARA plate after the fact. All right, notice we're leaving this area. We're not messing that area. Down here, we're showing you to stay away from that. This is just to show you that our our tracing of our anti-ventilation plate is going to be not exactly like that, but it's going to be something like that on the bottom when we get this fit, right? So we're going to get this fit. All right, notice the back is starting to fit nice. We're down at the base of the radius all the way on this side. You can't see it, so we're going to take a look at the other side. We're going to take a look at this side, and we still got just a tad more, just a little more. So, you know, you got hopefully the idea, but what we're going to do is we're going to take off a little bit more here. And that's it. Now, I know I said take off a little bit from each side. Well, when we get down into the final, you know, final closeness of getting this fit, we just try and stay on one side. If you got one side that matches perfectly, don't be messing with both sides anymore. That's my recommendation. You can do it any way you want, right? We're all artists, and we're all here to get this job done, make our boats go faster. That's what we do here, and whatever we can do to help you out. If you have any questions, you give us a call. But I'm going to show you what the fit looks like here after this. We should be extremely close. Okay, that right there is laying down perfectly on that radius. It's just at the base of the radius. I'm going to hold it on this side so that we don't get some sort of fake wind blowing it or something. So I'm going to hold it on that side. I'm going to hold it back here, and I'm going to let it sit naturally, and I'm going to notice there's maybe a little tad of adjustment I'm going to do up front here. So I'm going to do that tad of adjustment, and then from there, this is it. But what I'm going to do is now I need to know where the plate comes into it, okay? So I'm going to show you what that line looks like, all right? We're going to come into it something like this. Okay? And that's all the marking that I need on there. Because we will match the plate up. And this is the part that has to match up. In other words, these 2 points have to match up like they do there. Okay, so you'll see our shape of our VARA plates are on the front we're patented for either square or for round or for whatever. We got a lot of different claims on our patent, but you'll see that in what we offer now, we go like this. Okay, that tells us where to end it. This is going to tell us where to end it. Okay. And our engineers will do the rest. And then here's that little bit I said need trimming. What we're going to do is one final check. And then guess what we do? We're going to do the bottom. So we'll show you how to do that. So here you go. We're going to set that down at the base of that radius. We're going to hold the side, hold the back however we want. Make sure everything sits there good. Looks beautiful there. But take everything right here. Everything sits. Ooh, we got one little spot here, guys. Hate to do it to you. We got to wait. Okay. That's it. That's the last one, guaranteed. So we'll come in, do this. You can see it was only 1/8 of an inch, but that, you know, it's 1/8 of an inch of you would have to sand it after the fact, or we can get it done now. So let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, perfect. Boom. Let's see what it looks like on this side. Oh yeah, perfect. You can't see it. You just got to believe me that we're going to hold it in this spot. Now, here's what we're going to do. That looks good, right? So what we do is we're going to take, and in this case, we don't have to put any tape, or let's say you overcut and put a big old scallop in here, something like this. Accidentally cut a big old scallop in here. All you have to do is at this point put tangent, okay, the word tangent, and then another word here, tangent, and then in between, straight to tangent points. Just write a note to us, okay? As long as it's in English. If we have a question for you, we'll go ahead and we'll call you back, okay? But we're here with an open communication to do the best job we can. Now, if I can just find the end of this tape, which is right here. I just take one. You can take and set this anyway. 2, 3, 4, and I take a 5th one. And all we'll do is, look, we're going to take this to the back radius. Line the back radius up first. Make sure it's centered back in here. And we're going to take and do that. Boom. That's done, right? Now we'll take one more piece. We're going to come over here. We're going to take our middle. Boom. Got that lined up. We're going to take this. Same in the front. Boom. Got that lined up. Now you'll see on this side what the actual 2 other sides will look like. Boom. Got this lined up. Okay. And listen, this is way too much tape, just so you know. You can use 1-inch tape, 1/2-inch tape. This is what I had. And we'll take and we'll just nail that in the spot just like that. That's all. Just, it keeps this from moving. Now what we're going to do is, and this is the last and final step before you pack it up and say goodbye, is we're going to come in. We're going to actually draw. And what I want is, I want this thing straight up and down to where we have a 1/16 to maybe 3/32 of a gap. All right, I don't like to see more than that. We like a nice tight fit on your VARA plate. But if we make it too tight, then you've got to come in and do what? You're going to have to come in and sand it. If we make it too loose, then it's going to be wobbly on there and it won't be as fair or recessed for hydrodynamic drag. So what we do is just, you know, give us a nice little curve here. You got to turn the blade of your prop to go around, right? And then you can help hold it down and you're going to see what transpires here. You're going to see that things are going to be very different than what you first saw, okay, from what we did. And hold this down. Okay. And one other thing I want to say is, if you have a white motor, don't use a black marker. Go ahead and use something a little bit lighter. If you have a gray motor, or as in this case, or black is fine, or, you know, Mercs or black is fine. But, you know, try and match the marker, because if it does hit your lower unit, it's no big deal because your VARA plate's going to cover it. But it's just a little bit neater if you do it that way. All right, so we've got those marked out on here. You're going to see what this looks like. Take all the tape off. Okay. Keep in mind, this is what's coming back to us. You'll be prepaid on the labeling. This can all be done. We just delivered one to South Florida. It arrived in actually 10 hours. We couldn't believe it. There is the actual outline that you can see there. That's the true outline of the anti-ventilation plate. So when we recess this for you for the perfect fit, that is the line that we're going to need, okay? When we cut out for the perfect fit of where it goes on to the lower unit, these are the lines we're going to use. And if for some reason there's a little bit of wows in there, don't worry, we're going to fill those in. We just want to hit the high points. So please make sure that if this is a high point, this is a high point, this is a low point, we're going to be hitting the high points just like I told you about the tangent, tangent, straight to tangent. Okay? So as long as this is a high point, we're going to fill that in and we're going to make that straight for y'all. All right, hopefully that helps you out. If you have any questions, give us a call. You can write to us, pontoonhydrofoil.com, Mike at pontoonhydrofoil.com, or 727-455-5576. If we don't answer your phone call right away, Tracy or I, we will get back with you as soon as possible. But we ask you to please don't move forward until we have this accurately made and back in our hands, okay? This is very critical, very, very, very critical. I'll give you a for instance. We've had Honda units here recently in the past month and a half. We've had 3 Honda units, same motors. Not going to say what size because somebody's going to say I'm a doofus, and I can tell you we're not. They did have different lettering. I think one was a BAE J or something like that, and one was a BAE, maybe an F, or something like that. But what didn't make any sense is that there were 3 Honda 140s with different lower units. It didn't make any sense to us. And so for us to cover that for you, we're going to do that. We're going to give you the right lower unit or light VARA plate, or the correct VARA plate that you need. But we don't want to spend the money to send you the wrong item and have an unhappy customer. This is the best way to get around that. If you draw us what you have, we can match to the models we have. And if we don't match to the models we have, we will have these CNC made for you, and then they will be consistent for the years thereafter. All right. That's why it's very important for the make, model, year of motor, and even when you get into some pictures, take a picture of your serial numbers. That helps us identify these motors. Okay, so we thank you so much for watching, and that's it. Hey, join the VARA life. It's the fast way to go. All right, thank you.